Yeah.
That too.
Hello.
Say something.
You're on mute. Well, I just put on mute. Hello.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, guys. Apologies for that. So look, let's start off again. I think we've got that sorted there. Just bear with me a moment. Okay, great. So I know you've probably seen the slides already, but we'll go through exactly what we're going to cover. Like I said, we'll do the brief introduction about who we are, a little bit of context around the coding industry. Yoni will go through a little bit about how you learn and some course details, and then we'll go through some student case study examples as well. Finish off with a general Q&A. With that delay there, what we will try and do is speed things up a little bit on our end, and hopefully have about 15 minutes at the end for that question and answer session. So like I said, who we are a global education company, and we have students working with us throughout the world. We are industry-led. Our course content and curriculum is designed by industry for industry, and we are career-focused. So our goal here is to help you get prepared and transition into a career as a software developer. And how we do that is by providing you with industry-recognized certification and practical portfolio-led training. So a little bit about where our students are based. So through our Mentored Online program, it allows our students to study globally with us. So we have quite a lot of students studying with us in Europe. However, there are quite a few across the States, across Asia, and into Australia as well with us. Our Industry Advisory Council, so our IAC, is a panel that we established ourselves. So we work very closely with leading companies to ensure that our technologies are the most relevant and in demand for job seekers today. So what exactly is that? So we develop and review our course content with the likes of Capgemini, Booking.com, Accenture, Red Hat, Netflix. And we need to make sure that our content is the most in demand and relevant. And why is that useful for you? Because when you go out into the real world and you're looking for a role, we want to make sure that the languages, the technologies, and the tools that you have are on trend and in line with industry. So, as I mentioned, we are career focused. So our goal is to provide industry aligned online content and certification to enable career changers to find employment in the software development industry. And how we do that is using a university credit rated recognized diploma. So it is a level 5 on the European qualifications framework. And then we also provide you with practical skills that you can demonstrate to an employer using a portfolio. Moving on, I just want to give you a little bit of context around the actual industry and the skill shortage that we're seeing across the ICT industry at the moment. So it's estimated that by 2020, there will be 4 billion people connected. There'll be $4 trillion worth of revenue opportunities. There'll be 25 plus million apps. There'll be 25 billion plus embedded and intelligent systems and 50 trillion gigs of data. And I suppose fundamental to all of this is coding and software development. So that just goes to show the absolute opportunities and the demand for people with software development skills. And moving on from that, and more specific in terms of how it relates to you, because of this, we're seeing that in Holland at the moment there is a demand to supply ratio of 21 to 1. So for every person with ICT and coding and software development skills in the Netherlands, there are 66,250 job vacancies for them. And that's just absolutely incredible. And because of this, we're seeing the following salaries for graduates with software development skills. So typically coming out of our bootcamp and going into a graduate level role, you'll be seeing salaries at about 40,000 euro per year. That'll increase significantly in year 3 to 5 and then 5+ years as well. So again, the demand for people, for skilled people in this area, and the shortage that's there means that you can command a much higher salary than you would have previously. So I just want to take a minute just to show you just a few examples of companies that our graduates work for. So we have the likes of Accenture, Activo, Fenergo, Intercom, Apple, IBM, all quite large tech giants, and they are some of the people that are employing our graduates now. So coming back to that and looking at the skills shortage and the demand for people with software development skills, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the reasons to study our full stack program. So like I said, you'll be learning skills that employers are looking for right now. So it's relevant to you, it's relevant to the industry. We'll also help you build a job-ready portfolio of projects, and that will allow you to demonstrate to employers exactly the quality of the skills that you have. We provide you with a university credit rated and globally recognized diploma, meaning that there's a set standard so that employers again will be able to see the level of your skill set. We understand that when taking on a new learning, specifically in the discipline of coding and software development, that there's a great amount of support that's required in order to help you move through that. So we've designed 5 pillars of coding and career support to assist you in that. And they're designed depending on where you are in the course, what materials you're learning in order to best support you. And the final reason to study our full stack program is our employment rate. So on average, we have an 85% employment rate of our graduates that have completed the course with us. So at this stage, I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to pass over to Yoni. Like I said, Yoni is our head of learning success here, and he's going to talk you through some of the course details and how you will how the course is structured with us. Okay.
Thanks, Denise. Hi, everyone. So as Denise mentioned, what I want to focus on is the course structure and the support that you will get while learning on the course. But I'll first start by what does it mean to be a coder and what full stack means. So what we will teach you in this course is the practical aspects of creating software that solves some real world problem for your users. E-commerce site, a social platform, anything at all you can think of, everything can be created with code. And when working as a coder, you have to choose a platform to work with. And the platform that we believe in most is the web. So websites, the internet, and mobile applications. So everything is based on the web or the internet. And we will teach you everything you need to know about creating web applications, full stack web services, where full stack means all of the parts from the part closest to the user and up to the database behind the scenes. And we usually split this into 3 parts. So the stack, the system, is the front end. So the part of the application that's directly in front of your users. So the website or the mobile application. what they can see, what they can hear, what they can read, what they can experience directly, and everything they can click or write. So that's the front end working on their own devices. Then there's the back end, so a server that you control in a data center somewhere, in the cloud usually. There you have all of the logic that you want to manage interaction with multiple users. So this is not about single user anymore, but about how you store and manage the data that's relevant to all of your users. And then behind the backend, there is the database server, where you store all the data persistently for long periods. And the database lets you store vast amounts of information and retrieve them and manipulate them very quickly. So we will teach you about all of that. It doesn't mean that at the end of the course you will become experts about all of these parts, but you will know how all of these pieces work. And even if eventually you will only choose to focus on one of these pieces as your main part of your career, and having the knowledge of how all of this fits together will make you much more valuable in everything you do. Okay, so now to the course itself. Our course is split into 9 modules, where we will lead you very gradually from the very basics of the front end, adding piece by piece additional technologies until you can create at the very end of the course a large full stack application that involves everything. So at the beginning of the course, we have several fundamental modules where we will teach you the basics of each of the technologies. We start with HTML fundamentals, so how to structure the content on the front end, right? All of the text, all of the images, the videos, all of the form components, how to create those. Then CSS fundamentals, so how to actually add some styling to your HTML, how to make it look pretty and lay it all out in a very useful manner. After those 2 fundamental modules, you will start your first larger module, which is the user-centric front-end module, where you will learn how to combine HTML and CSS to create a user experience that, again, provides real value to your users. In this module, as in most other modules, you will go through lots of lessons, usually structured around 5 to 8 videos, with diagrams and additional content below the video, full transcripts, so you can read as you listen, and you can quickly search and jump to every part of the video. And it also has lots of quizzes and challenges for you to try coding as you learn. So we don't want you to just code at the end, right? So everything you learn, you will practice. And we use an online platform called Cloud9, which is managed by Amazon, that lets you code all of your applications directly inside the browser, so you don't have to deal with installing things on your own computer if you don't want to. So at the end of this module, you will do a mini project where we will show you all of the steps you would need to go to create your first project. And then you will create your first milestone project, where from scratch you will think up of an idea to solve a problem for some target audience. And you will go through all the steps of creating the HTML and CSS to provide value for those users. Then after this module, we have another fundamentals module focused on JavaScript. So JavaScript is the language that you can use to create interactive elements in your website. So how you will know when a user clicks on something or moves a mouse or types in something, handle those events by the user and change the page dynamically to answer to the user or provide some additional data. In addition, with JavaScript, we can fetch data from other sources on the web, what's known as APIs, application programming interfaces. For example, based on an address that the user typed in, you might show them a map or provide some other statistics or names of restaurants in that area. So that's all managed with JavaScript. And indeed, after this fundamentals module, we go into the next larger module, which is the interactive front-end development module, where we combine everything you learned so far to create an interactive project. And we show you lots of tools to fetch information from other sources and visualize it in a comfortable manner to the users. And then after this, we go and focus on the backend. In the backend, unlike in the front end, there are many different languages that you can choose from. And we focus on the Python language, which is the fastest growing, most popular language in the backend these days. And what's nice about Python is that it's extremely powerful while also being very easy to read and very friendly for beginners. So that's why we use it. We start with a fundamentals Python module, just walking through the basics of that. And then the next module is practical Python, where you will learn to use Python to solve larger problems. And we will introduce you to how to actually create your first backend. So what kind of Python code you need to write to use a server that will coordinate the actions of multiple users that want to use your website, store some data about them, and provide them each with their own customized view. And for that, we use a framework called Flask, so that it will be used to create these backends. Again, there's a mini project and then a large project at the end of that. And then the next module is data-centric development, where we now introduce databases. So in addition to the backend, which can store little bits of information, we will now show you how to use a database to structure your information very clearly and store vast amounts of it. We focus on two specific databases. So MySQL, which is the most popular relational database using the SQL language, and MongoDB, which is the most popular document-based database, which stores data in a less structured way, but that's a bit faster to access using what's known as a JSON structure. In general, if I introduce any terms that you're not familiar with, so don't worry. You're not supposed to be familiar with these. I'm just throwing words out there. So if you have any experience or you're comparing this to other courses, so you'll know what we focus on. And if you have any questions about any of this, just feel free to ask at the end or ask in the chat. Okay, so at the end of this, you will create your fourth large project, creating a large data-centered application. And then we move on to the final module, which is our full stack frameworks with Django module. So at this stage, you're already familiar and have practice with all the different parts of the front end and back end. And now we use a framework, a tool in Python called Django that lets us structure everything in a better way and create much larger applications than we could have without it. As part of it, we will show you how to work with the database more effectively using Django. We will show you how to take payments from your users, both single payments and subscription payments. We will show you different ways of deploying your application to the cloud. And at the end of this, you will create a very interesting project. So these are the 9 modules. As I mentioned, in each of the main 5 modules, so the non-fundamental modules, we have a mini project, also called a walkthrough project, where we show you all of the steps, working you piece by piece in different videos on how to create this. And you can follow those videos and create the whole project yourself. And then after each, you will create your own milestone project. And these are much more exciting, of course. So here, it's up to you to choose a problem that you want to solve for some target audience. It can be just something that you'd like to create yourselves, or it can be an actual client. So if you know of a business owner or a family member, anyone who would benefit from a project, then go ahead and create something and then share it with the world. So this is our focus, right, on the practical aspect. So everything we teach is centered on creating something that will be useful in the industry and that will impress employers. As Denise mentioned, we have the IAC. So we know exactly what employers are looking for now, and we will teach you how to do that. And I just want to show off one student project. So this is a project created for the data-centric module. We have a student, we had a student in one of the previous cohorts who's a diabetic, and he decided to create a project to help him manage his insulin usage. So he has a device that lets him read the current sugar blood levels, and that device can just output numbers in a very kind of ugly format. So he decided to create a dashboard around it to help him visualize the changes in the glucose levels over time. And he would know how his diet changed from day to day, and he would see the effect of that based on his food, based on the time period. And he structured all of these charts that you can see, right? So all of this is interactive. So if you click, you can see that you can filter based on any aspect of the data. We're using a library here called DCJS. So this is a JavaScript library. So a library is something that's reusable, that you can adapt to your own needs. So we teach you how to create all of the parts here. And he created this project, and it really helped him. So if you look at the chart there, you can see that he created this, and indeed his sugar levels became easier to manage after he set this up and gained some additional insights from this. So this is just one example. We have lots and lots of student projects. We have a page on our website where you can look at other projects. And if you have questions, we'll be happy to tell you more about them later on. And now I'll go back to the course, and I'll tell you a bit more about how you will learn. So all of the content is online, so you can study at your own pace. And it's provided through a system called OpenEdX, which is an open source system originally created by Harvard and MIT, and it has lots of our own customizations. So you would log on to this website, and you have access to the 9 modules I mentioned. For each module, we have it split into lessons, and lessons are split into units. And each unit has, at the top of it, a rationale and motivation for why you would need to study this and how this fits in context of all the other things you study. And usually it would have, as I mentioned, a 5 to 8 minute video. And usually below that, it would have some quiz questions or challenges or additional content for you to access. And again, as I mentioned, at the end of each such module, after all the regular lessons, then we have the mini project and then the milestone project that you will create. And at the very end, then after you finish, you have some additional content about careers, which I'll mention a bit later. Let me actually focus on the support we provide. So learning coding is hard. We know it's difficult, especially if you don't have any background, but the vast majority of our students don't have any background. And we do our best to help them make this process of learning as smooth as we can. We have 5 main pillars that we use to support you. I'll just give you an overview, and then I'll go into a bit of detail about each of them. The first one is student care. So this is a team here that will get in touch with you after you sign up. They will explain about all the different pieces, provide you with access to everything, and they will they will check up on you every once in a while, and they'll be your kind of first port of call for whenever you have any general questions about the course. We have our community chat on Slack. We have dozens of channels focused on every aspect of the course and of coding in general. So you can talk with all of your peers on the course and get answers to any kind of general aspect of coding. We have tutoring, which is probably the best support mechanism possible. So whenever you get stuck on anything in the course, or whenever you have any questions about any video or any code example or any challenge that you're unsure about, so you can access this page on the LMS on our website and type in a question, and within a few minutes, you'll be chatting with one of our tutors who are very knowledgeable about all parts of the course itself, and they'll be able to walk you through and explain any aspect of it. And another type of support we have is mentoring. So mentors are industry professionals who we use to act as kind of role models for you. So these are very experienced people currently working in the industry. So they're not employees of Code Institute. They're working remotely with us. And you will be paired up with a mentor based on your time zone and based on when you want to study. And you will have throughout the course 17 structured sessions with them in different parts. So focusing mostly on the project work, the mentors will help you figure out what kinds of project you want to create, how to structure your work around them, how to plan the different parts. And they will provide a bit of a critique at the end to let you know if it's good and if there's anything else you can focus on. And the mentors indeed will also help you with career advice. So they're doing this work now, so they will help you figure out what kind of jobs you want to apply to, and they will help prepare you for the technical interviews. And the last pillar of support is career, and I'll mention actually that a bit more later. So now I want to dive into each of them. So there's another slide. Yeah, okay, yeah. So this is Slack. So Slack is the system we use for our peer-to-peer support. We have a community of close to 1,000 students at the moment active there, posting about 20,000 messages per month. Actually, it's now closer to 30,000 per month. As I mentioned, we have many different channels for every aspect of the course. Myself and others here at Code Institute also spend quite a lot of time there, helping with whatever questions the community has not responded to directly. And another cool thing we have here is a weekly win thread. So every Friday afternoon, we have a thread here on the general channel where we ask everyone to say something about their success in the past week. So what cool things they've learned or built in the past week. And it's really fun. So this is the community support. Oh, sorry. The slides kind of changed the order here, so apologies for that. The other two things I mentioned are mentoring and tutoring. So we have a single slide for both, but it's actually two separate things. We have currently about 35 mentors around the world with different focuses, different time zones, each very, very professional, very experienced. And we have our in-house tutoring team. So you can see some of their pictures there, both mentors and tutors. And these people are working or have worked in some of the largest companies, building some of the biggest projects out there, and doing that with the technology that we teach you. So they will help you with any questions you may have on the technical side. And regarding career support, so we have many different aspects. We have lots of content at the end of the LMS itself. So as I mentioned, after you finish your projects, then you'll get access to an additional module of career advice, starting from your marketing materials, right? So all of your social profiles, your CVs, your cover letter, and especially LinkedIn is probably the biggest platform out there. So we will help you create an effective LinkedIn profile. We have an interview masterclass. So we will provide you with content and support on how to prepare for interviews, both the technical ones I mentioned and non-technical ones with recruiters. We have regular career webinars where we have both ourselves and potential employers talk to you and explain what you can do to best market yourselves and indeed what opportunities are currently out there. And as much as possible, we'll provide you with employer networking opportunities. So we try to stay in touch with lots of companies hiring developers across all of the areas we're active in, and we'll try to get you in touch with them. And this is, so while you're searching for a job and after you completed your projects, you will get this really cool diploma. So you've submitted the projects. They're assessed by external assessors. Some portion of them are assessed by 2 assessors. And you get this nice diploma, which is awarded by us. You get a grade depending on how well you do. So we have, I don't want to focus on it now, but there's kind of different levels of honors. So you can, show it to your employers as having completed this course really well. And of course, you will have your portfolio of all the projects you've created, really show off. And this diploma is credit rated by the Napier Edinburgh University. So this is a level 5 in European Certification Framework. So that's valuable for getting your foot there in the door, because this is an official diploma. And then your portfolio is what actually will get you the job, being able to demonstrate that you can create all of this cool stuff. And at this point, I just want to give the mic back to Denise, and she'll give you more details about how to sign up.
Great, thanks a million for that, Yoni. Okay, so now, as I mentioned, Yoni has gone through what you're going to cover, the structure of the course, how you're going to learn with us. And now I just wanted to run through just a few examples of previous graduates and current students, just so you can get an idea of their journey with us. So I want to start off with one of our recent graduates. His name is Adrian Ross. And before he became a student with us and studied with Code Institute, he had a business degree, and he was working for a local restaurant as a restaurant manager. He had always had an interest in software development and coding, but due to constraints around work and financing, it wasn't possible for him to go back into full-time education. He had a lot of responsibilities. So he decided that our offering here at Code Institute, our mentored online program, allowed him the flexibility to study while still working. And then again, it was that very practical application that he was basically learning by doing, and working on the new technologies that are relevant to the careers market. So I have a short video, a 2-minute video here of Adrian, and I'll just play that for you, and you can have a little bit of a more in-depth view of what his experience was like with us. Okay.
Learn after PhD, Python. When you go in, you have to say that you'll answer any questions at the end, so that they're not being ignored. One guy did say a 5% employment rate, how does that compare to competitors? So, probably off the top of my head.
Right, guys, I hope you enjoyed just hearing a little bit from Adrian. Like I said, Adrian came from a business degree background, completely unrelated from software development. And now he's working as a developer for Accenture. I was actually just speaking to Adrian there last week, and he is moved over onto a new robotics project. So he's less than 2 years with Accenture, and he has seen absolute massive progression in the role that he's in. So he went in as a junior developer, and now he is a senior software engineer. That's the title that he has in Accenture, and like I said, working on a robotics program there. So next I'd like to speak to you about Ali. He's currently doing the course with us. He is due to complete anytime soon. So again, Ali's background is completely unrelated to software development. He was working in a hotel in Amsterdam in a management role. And again, he wasn't feeling very satisfied. He had his qualifications in business management, and what he wanted to do, he'd always had an interest and a passion in technology, and he wanted to make the leap into a role as a developer. So what Ali was looking for was, again, the employment opportunity and being able to learn the latest and the tools and the technologies that were in high demand in industry in order to make that transition into a career possible for him. Again, I was speaking to Ali a couple of weeks ago as well. We like to check in and see how everyone's doing. So Ali's just about to submit his final projects. But he's already interviewing for software development roles in the industry. So that just goes to show, again, the demand for people with these skills, that companies are approaching our students without even having graduated from the course. This is Eloise, again, another Mentored Online student with us. Eloise, again, no background in software development. She's actually a PhD researcher with Leiden University. And she wanted to learn coding and software development because she can see how useful it is to be able to take technology and apply use the technology and the software development skills and apply it to her field of study. And again, she was looking for something that offered support. And again, that's something that we focus very heavily on. It's about not just providing you with the skill set, but helping you and providing you with the necessary information and tools to go on and achieve a role in software development. And then finally, our final student story. So Christian, he is a graduate of ours, a recent graduate. Christian is originally from Romania, and his background is in civil engineering and structural and support engineering. So again, working on construction sites, wasn't too happy with that. Christian was an absolute novice when he came to us, and again, he wanted to switch over and focus on getting a job in software development. Again, another passion of his and something that he really wanted to get involved in and felt excited about. So Christian actually was moving and relocating to the Netherlands. And so we were able to put Christian, although he didn't study in the Netherlands with us, he actually studied in Dublin in Ireland. We were able to put him in touch with employers in the Netherlands. And he was actually interviewing for both Accenture and Capgemini. And he had offers from both. And at the end of the day, he was able then to negotiate a deal that suited him best, and he chose the role with Accenture. So again, just after hearing those students' stories and our graduate successes as well, I just wanted to hit on just a few points of, I suppose, why choosing this particular full stack development course. We really focus on what our students are saying, what our graduates are saying, what industry are saying. And the most important things to help you change your career in this area is, first of all, that you have the right skills and the skills that employers are looking for right now. And that's why it's so important that we stay so close to industry with our Industry Advisory Council. We have regular reviews and check-ins with them to make sure that everything that we're teaching is on point and on trend with industry demand. We then also want to make sure that you're fully equipped with the practical skills so that you not just have a lot of theory around software development and the different tools and technologies, but you can meaningfully contribute to a real world project. And that's what a portfolio demonstrates to an employer. That's what that allows you to do. So not only can you say, I know what HTML, CSS, Python, databases are, I can actually build something. I can apply those skills and I can demonstrate to you my strengths in these subjects. And that's what an employer is looking for. On top of that, as Yoni mentioned, it's a university credit rated program as well. So again, not every employer globally will have heard of Code Institute, but what they will have heard of is a level 5 European credit rated diploma. And that's exactly what you'll get if you complete the course with us. You will have a globally recognized university credit rated diploma that will get you that step in the door, that will offer security to an employer that you have a set standard of skills. And then finally, I know this is something that both myself and Yoni have stressed, but we feel that it's really important. It's that world-class support. So it is a technically challenging industry to get involved in. It's not easy. You are going to spend 99.9% of your time banging your head against a brick wall because it's so frustrating. And we want to make that journey as easy as possible for you. We're not going to say that we're going to take all of that pain away, but we are going to assist you and make sure that the journey, your learning journey with us, is the best it can be and support you fully in every way we can. Okay. So And I'm going to let you guys all go. I know it's coming up to 7:25 now, so I just want to run through a final few things with you, and probably the reason why you've all logged on this evening. So the three big questions that I come across and that people ask me on a daily basis is, how does it all work? How much does it cost? And what are my next steps? So as we mentioned, our course is delivered through our Mentored Online program. And what that means is that it's a flexible online learning path, and it's completely self-paced for you. So a lot of our students won't have the ability to go back to college for 4 years full-time and do a computer science degree and commit fully to that. And we understand that. So the course itself is self-paced. There are no set lecture times. What we do ask is that you commit to a minimum of about 12 hours per week, and that's to maintain a steady progression through your learning. But inside of that, you can access your material mornings, afternoons, evenings, and depending on how many hours you can commit each week, that will determine the length of it for you. So you can really fit it around your personal and your work commitments that are already standing. With that, with our Mentored Online program, you will be assigned a personal mentor that will work with you throughout the course. And specifically, their job is to support you in terms of your project work and through your career guidance as well. Then on more of a day-to-day basis, you'll have 24/7 access to our Slack channel. And although you will be studying remotely from home, you will still be part of the wider community. You will still be have access to your peer group, which again will offer you a level of support and motivation, but it's also great to establish your network from the beginning and also establish those behaviors in terms of sharing of ideas, cross collaboration, and working with the wider online community. And then you'll also have access, as Yoni mentioned, to our tutor team here, and they're to help you with the day-to-day technical issues that you have. So again, no matter what part of the course or what you're doing, it means that there are support options available to you throughout. We have weekly enrollment. So again, it goes with the flexibility. So no matter when you want to start or when suits you best to start with us, you can enroll with us and start the following week. And as I mentioned, that duration is 12 to 60 weeks. And that really depends on how many hours you can commit each week. Now, I want to manage people's expectations on that. So the majority of our students study on a part-time basis. And they usually study between 12 to 20 hours a week. And you're looking at potentially completing the course in about 6.5 to 14 months on that timescale. However, we have had a few students that have gone through the Mentored Online program, again, because it is self-paced, at a much faster pace. So they'd be putting in 40 plus hours a week, and they will finish the course in approximately 3 to 4 months. But again, that's entirely up to you. Our student care team are there to help you at the very beginning to set out your study goals, a realistic time frame for you, and they'll check in with you on a regular basis then to make sure that you're sticking to those study goals that you have, and then also giving you a little nudge when they feel that maybe you're slacking behind a little bit. Okay. So in terms of then pricing for the course, so the full price for our Mentored Online program, and that's regardless of whether it takes you 3 months or 14 months, is €4,997. So there are two options to pay for the course, either upfront before your start date, or you can divide the payments over a 14-month installment plan of €375 per month. And again, that's something that we really want to offer to our students in order to make it more accessible, and again, to manage it around your current work and personal expenses. Okay. So finally, the next steps. So at this stage in time, after going through all of that information, there will be some of you that are thinking, yes, this is exactly what I was looking for. What do I do now? And then there are going to be other people that are saying, I'm still not too sure whether or not this is something for me. But that's okay. So my role here as an education advisor is to help you figure out whether or not this course is a good fit for you. And the only way we can do that is by having a strategy call, what we call a strategy call. And it's really just an in-depth chat with myself or one of my colleagues here. There's three of us here in the office. You've probably gotten emails from us all at some stage. And like I said, we will talk you through what you're looking to achieve. What are your career goals and aspirations? What do you look for in a course? And we will help figure out whether or not our learning outcomes are in line with that. If they are, great. We'll talk you through then our application process. And if they're not, that's okay too. At least I suppose we can cross one thing out of your list and you can go and find out really where you want to go with this. Okay. So that's really everything from me. We are just hitting 7:30. So I do apologise for the delay and all of the technical issues that we experienced. However, myself and Yoni are here to answer some questions that you may have. So please feel free to type them into the chat box. We'll answer them as best we can. And again, we'll be also having those strategy calls. So I've included a link there. You can sign up there. You can pick a time that suits you best for a strategy call. Myself and my colleagues will be checking in with you over the coming days. But if you'd like to book something in, that's no problem at all. Okay. So like I said, please, any questions that anybody has, we'd be happy to answer.
Let's answer this.
You can answer them on chat or on air, whatever.
Should we invite them to speak?
Oh, no.
No. Okay.
Okay. So Robbie, I see that you're asking about physical classrooms. So we actually don't have any physical classrooms available. We did have a full-time classroom-based bootcamp up until recently. However, what we saw was that there was a huge demand from our students for flexibility and the ability to study outside of those core structured physical hours. So we have decided to remove the classrooms and focus fully on the mentored online.
You can throw one in there. If you want to ask any, you could say the top 3 questions I always receive are most common questions.
So what are the common questions?
Am I too old? One. About the diploma, is it globally recognised?
Oh, you want to respond to this? That's a good percentage. I don't know why. 5% employment rate. I noticed it before.
No, it is.
It is low?
No, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not employment rate, so employment rate as coders. Maybe that's...
Okay. So Stan, I see that your question there, 85% employment rate seems pretty low for a full stack program. How does that compare to others? So in terms of an 85% employment rate, so our employment rate, that 85% is based on people going into software development specific roles. We don't include people that have gone into other tech roles that aren't completely software development related, or people that have maybe started their own business. We don't see those as the same type. That's not what we base our stats on. However, 85% is fairly high, and it is standard within the marketplace. I know there are some others with maybe a 98% hiring rate. What I would say is proceed with caution with those. Maybe have a look at the specific terms and conditions as to what exactly constitutes that, what are the eligibility requirements for that and the criteria on that. But again, Stan, I'd be more than happy to talk to you through a strategy call and go through all of the different ones on a case-by-case basis with you.
Maybe I'll just add a bit here. So among these 50% who aren't working as software developers, we have quite a few people who decided to take this course. So they'll have this knowledge for the regular role. And in particular, there are a lot of people who wanted to be able to better manage coders, people who are either managing coders directly or as part of a different project they're managing, or as contractors, who by having the knowledge that they gain from this course are able to know what kind of output from a coder is good and what is bad, and just effectively create software projects indirectly. So that's very valuable.
Any more questions out there, guys? So Raoul, yes, the starting moment is flexible on that. So like I said, we have weekly start dates. So again, whenever suits you best. So whether it's now, whether it's next month, 6 months, again, we'll have a chat about that, see exactly what your availability is like, see what's realistic for you in order to commit to the course. Manpreet, do you provide job guarantees? No, we don't, Manpreet. So the reason we don't provide a job guarantee is very simple. Everybody and every employer is individual. And what we're trying to do here is provide you with the skills necessary, not just the coding skills, but also the soft skills, those marketing materials for yourself. So your CV writing, your interview skills, and help you uncover a role and a company that would suit you best. So we don't want to just lob everybody into one particular role and say, this is where you need to be for the rest of your life. We want to open the opportunities for you. And again, we can't do the interview for you. So we'll provide you with the skills. We'll make sure that your portfolio is up to scratch. We'll help you and coach you on your interview skills and making sure that your CV and your LinkedIn is up to speed. But we can't do the interview for you, Manpreet. And that's why we don't offer a job guarantee. Okay. And again, in terms of scholarship programs, Manpreet, that's not something that we currently have access to. Again, what I'd suggest is signing up for a strategy call and we can discuss that further. And Robbie, you mentioned, is there some kind of agreement that limits students to apply with certain employers? Like I said, Robbie, there's no limitations on that. We want to offer you opportunities. We want to open doors for you. We don't want to pigeonhole you. So you will have as much access to any employer as anybody else on the jobs market. And Raoul, you're asking about the minimal education needed. So again, Raoul, we don't expect anybody, in terms of coding and software development experience, we don't expect anybody to have any major experience whatsoever. We do, however, ask that everybody has some level of exposure to software development and coding, and that's really just to ensure that, first of all, you have a technical aptitude for it, and secondly, that you are fully aware of what's involved and the expectations that are going to be put on you on that. We have a minimal requirement in terms of English proficiency because our course is delivered through English. That's a level 6 on the IETLS. Again, I can forward you on more information about that role. Great.
You want to maybe say more about the exposure to coding? So
yes, so in terms of the exposure to coding, so again, apologies about that. So we do offer a free 5-day coding challenge, and that allows you to experience some coding. So it's very basic. First of all, it would allow you to have a look at our learning management platform, so you can see a lighter version of the layout of our course. And it will also expose you to some very basic coding challenges. So even if you have absolutely no coding experience whatsoever, it will allow you to try some challenges free of charge without the commitment. And what we say is that even if you work through all of the challenges and you don't get them all fully 100% completed, that's okay. But by the end of it, you'll either say, okay, yes, I want to, it's frustrated me and it's challenged me, but at the same time, and I didn't get all the answers, but at the same time, I want to learn more and I found it interesting and this is something that I think I could sink my teeth into. Great, because again, we want to make sure that there's a a genuine passion and level of interest in learning how to code. And then for other people, they will try the challenges, and after day one, they'll say, no, this isn't for me. And that's okay too. So again, it will allow you to figure out whether or not this is a good area for you to get involved in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll add about the 5-day coding challenge that if you completed the challenge, so even if you haven't solved anything, but you've completed the 5 days and you have strong feelings about the computer and about coding, then this is probably a good way for you. So if you love it, then obviously it's probably for you. But even if you end up hating the computer entirely, so you just like you're angry at it and it doesn't do what you wanted, but you're into that, so that might mean this is for you. So some of the best coders I know actually really hate computers, and they deal with it by creating the most kind of concise solutions to everything. So they will use code whenever necessary, because they know that it has its upsides and downsides, and they'll be able to create much better solutions than people who just really love coding and they're just enjoying it and creating as much as they can. So both kind of people have lots of options here in the field.
Any more questions? Okay, guys. Well, look, like I said, we are more than happy if you obviously maybe don't want to put it up on the chat and have everybody discuss it on a larger forum. That's completely fine. But what we'll do is we will send you through a copy of the slide presentations. We'll also send you a link to that 5-day coding challenge. So again, if this is something that you're contemplating and want to see whether or not you have an aptitude for it, whether it's something that you enjoy doing, then give it a go and see how you get on. And like I said, if you'd like to speak to us, we'll be conducting those strategy calls. Feel free to book in, and we'd be more than happy to talk you through your options. But apart from that, have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for joining in, and we hope to speak to you all soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.